So just moving on then now to this topic of building community within the church. No doubt you're part of a church. Why is this so important? Well, we're all part of a spiritual family where we can encourage and support one another. And these verses from Hebrews on the screen there encourage us to do just that. Let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, but encouraging one another. And we as grandparents in the fourth quarter of our lives have got so much that we can bring to the church in terms of playing a vital role in fostering a culture of care and faith and connection with our grandchildren. So we're finding with our 72 grandparenting friends in our church, there is a real thirst and a real need to be able to encourage one another as a church. Well, how have we done that? Maybe we can look at the next slide. There's a number of approaches to this. A number of practical ways that we've adopted is, firstly, we've just tried to connect our grandparents together. And as we connect together, we share common experiences and joys and challenges. And we've actually met online with a number of other churches that do this. They encourage their grandparents to come together, and it's been done in so many different ways, sometimes just over an informal cup of coffee or in somebody's home in a small group or in the church. And this has been done with the leaders' permissions, the leaders of the church, their permissions and their encouragement, and organised a Christian group of grandparents within the church. And some meet together to pray for their grandchildren together, but mainly to encourage and to discuss the things that are going on in their grandparents' lives, all in the context of being confidential, of course. One of the things we've done is shared a lot of resources, books, and wisdom with one another. And we do a lot of that at our biannual events. So you might like to think to yourselves, well, would you like to consider setting up a group in your church to do that sort of thing? And we are working with a number of people. You probably remember that last time on this forum, we had Sarah Holmes talk, and we've been working alongside her as well to develop some resources for churches to do just this. And secondly, we try to encourage intergenerational relationships within our church. We support a young family within the church, mum and dad and their two children, because their family live away and they don't often see grandparents and so on. So we step in there and encourage them and support them and meet with them whenever possible and just have a meal together and offer a listening ear and practical help where we can, trying to encourage those who are a lot younger in the faith, maybe bringing along a little bit of the wisdom we've gathered over the years. Thank you. Next slide, please. And we encourage others as well who are grandparenting age just to serve in the church alongside others of different ages. So there's this link between the different age groups. We're not always in silos, as it were, according to age groups. So one of the things we've done in the holidays is to help with holiday clubs and things like that. We have a number of mission partners, and we work with our grandchildren to try and save some of their pocket money for these mission partners to try and put this faith into action in their eyes. And grandparents, we find in our church, often make wonderful mentors, particularly of younger children, and quite a number work in our Sunday school alongside other workers, and they bring a great wisdom and spiritual insight into those teams as well as pastoral care. And then we try to feather into our church prayer for grandparents and for grandchildren. So there's lots of different types of prayer activities. Maybe at our praise and prayer event once a month, we have a prayer station where individuals can go along and pray for grandparents or grandchildren, even if they're not grandparents and grandchildren, to try and encourage that connection. So we'd encourage you to do that, because we don't feel that building community in the church happens just by accident. We really do have to be quite intentional in building those links. So we'd encourage you to seek God's guidance in how you might encourage and strengthen the faith of those around about you. Thank you. If you can just have the next slide. So just to finish off, we do so much and we don't always know what the results of it is. So you may never know the full impact of your presence, your prayers and your love as grandparents in your family and in your church. But it's so reassuring to know that God does. He already knows. Our last slide is just to show you, give you a taste of the sort of events that we run. On Saturday, we're running an inspirational and encouraging free event that we've called Rooted. And we're going to be thinking about how we as grandparents need to be rooted in Christ, but also how we can use that to reach out to our grandchildren and to others with the good news of the gospel, and particularly how we can show God's love to others. So anybody's welcome. If you happen to live in our part of the world, or even if you want to travel to us, we have about 15, 16 different churches who are joining with us on Saturday to spend a Saturday morning in teaching sessions, in seminars, in workshops, in praying together, and just in fellowshipping and seeing what resources are around at the moment that will help us in this grandparenting journey. So you're very welcome to come and join us. If you want to take a picture of that, we'd be very pleased to see you if you'd like to register. Thank you so much. I hope we haven't spoken for too long, but I hope you found that helpful along your grandparenting journey.